we still cannot shy away from the fact that the proximity of Abeokuta to Lagos is a big challenge. Lagos is pulling the talents from here. A lot of talent. When I moved back into Abeokuta in 2013, Abeokuta was, to me, a virgin land. I saw a lot of opportunities, a lot of potentials. That's number one. So I believe it's going to require blood and sweat. We can grow the community. Lagos is crowded, and I love this serenity. But beyond that, so I started my business here. It is cheaper to operate here and spread across the country and outside the country. Why rent a 10 million naira office in Lagos when you can use 2.5 million, 3 million to get the same office in Abeokuta? It's cheaper to maintain a business here and then serve a global market. You could use the money you are going to run your business in Lagos for 6 months to run that same business in Abeokuta for 2 years if you know how to manage funds properly. Enough fairness and sincerity. It is not easy to build from Abeokuta, but I choose to stay back. In one way or the other, I want to be part of an ecosystem where my impact can be felt. I choose to build in Abeokuta because Abeokuta is the best place to be. There is only your imagination to be your limitation. In Abeokuta, if you can imagine it, you can build it. All right, so my name is Matthew Oguntayo. People generally call me Ogagun. So I'm born and raised in Oyo State, and I've had a tour of Southwest at my younger age. So I got into secondary school at age 12, and I'll call it a semi-boarding school. So I was staying with a guardian within the school. I attended comprehensive high school Ayetoro, but the childhood was very rough. Born and bred in the village. Went to a public primary school, and there is this funny joke that we used to tell ourselves then when we eventually got to know what it used to be then, when we had a bit of knowledge and understanding about life, that you are in a primary school, a public primary school, and English language is seldomly spoken. And even the mundane part of it was you are being taught English language, or you were given an explanation of those things in Yoruba language. So spoken English was quite a thing for us then. It was very difficult. When I got into the secondary school, I found it very hard to blend with my schoolmate because I couldn't communicate in a long sentence. I could only speak in simple, short English. But when it comes to expressing myself in a 2, 3, 5 minute communication, it became a thing. So I became withdrawn. And that resulted into something that almost became a self-esteem issue because you couldn't express yourself within. And in some cases, you have you are in a class. Teachers are teaching you and they ask questions. You know the answer. It now became a thing for you to speak up because you don't even know how to express those answers. People will not make jest of you. Sometimes the things you are thinking in your mind and how you have constructed it in your mind is the right thing to say. Or there was no confidence to speak because you don't have the background that give you that confidence to be able to construct. And you say, okay, this thing that I'm saying is right because you pass through a process that doesn't give you that background. So that was how my background was. So between that, my dad was part of the then UNAB. So I come from Ayetoro, every opportunity, sometimes weekends, sometimes the midterm break, sometimes long vacation. So come down to Abeokuta. Then our house was somewhere in Isalek, just almost opposite the then UNAB, this campus there. So I come to Abeokuta once in a while. So Ibara, Chapon was still very bush. This was early 90s, very bushy, that between the bridge to Amolasho and Ibara, there were big river and bush before we get to the Baptist then. So those was the experience growing up, and the thing that shaped who I am becoming was that growing up. The foresight that I saw myself beyond the village, that I had something in me that should not be confined to that vicinity alone. That as young as I was then, I've not seen the world, but I believe there's something out there, and I am made for that big thing. So that propelled that story. It also propelled the journey into comprehensive high school. It also propelled the people I met with, and also propelled the choices and other things that has happened in between that process. I used to call myself an accidental tech person, and that's the truth. Though my growing up, I wanted to be a medical doctor, right? But I didn't see myself practicing in the hospital. So in my Ayetoro then, so we used to sneak out to go to the cinema. Then the likes of Chuck Norris, Van Damme, we used to sneak out. So I watched a lot of movies then, and war film, we call it war film then. Then switched into watching films that has to do with medicals, and they are using telemedicine as archaic as it was then. So when I eventually wanted to prepare for JAMB, I wanted medicine. And the reason why I wanted medicine was to be able to write a telemedicine software for the Nigerian or African market. It was a childhood dream, and as foolish as it was then, that was what prepared me to put in for medicine. And even when I had gotten admission into UI, gotten admission into a school of EdTech, because I didn't get the course that I wanted, medicine, I had to wait. I did UI in year 2000. I think I scored about 219. They gave me anthropology. Then I said, okay, before I wait, let me just switch. I switched to School of Hygiene to do pharmacy technician, and that would give me access to medicine. So I did a lot of things just for medicine. Eventually, I got to Ilorin, right? And I did the IJMB. I wanted medicine. They gave me microbiology. Twice. Yes. So the second attempt, someone introduced me to the dean of basic medical science, who now said, okay, there's no more slot for medicine. But there's a way they do it then in some federal universities, the faculty of science, some selected courses you are allowed to cross to medicine. So we accepted microbiology in a bid to cross to medicine. We eventually crossed, but a lot happened then. That caused that, okay, there was no proper signing out, names missing, and a lot of things.
That happens a lot in this.
So eventually graduated with microbiology. But in between the time that I had the shock of my life, that okay, eventually got to know that my name was not in the master list for medicine. After we've done 200, 300, we've done all those departmental courses, and so eventually you realize that okay, you've just been wasting your time. So I made up my mind that I'm no longer going to school. By then, I was already into vaccine production. I had some guys in Ilorin, we were doing vaccine, we were doing a lot of things, and in between that, we were introduced to some big men in Kwara State then. One of them was a former commissioner who was also a PAMSEC in the Ministry of Health, who runs an hospital. Now said he needed a website. And my friend, because I was very resourceful, I could use CorelDRAW effectively.
So let me get this straight. While you've been trying to switch to medicine, you've not had any prior tech knowledge or practice or anything?
None.
At all?
None. So the earliest access I had to a personal computer was, I think this was 2002, when I had a friend who runs a business center, and I'll go there after school to help. Then from there, I started learning how to type, how to use. That was the foundation. But proper tech was an opportunity I saw. The man needed a website. They presented me as someone that could get it done.
Okay.
Then I billed him 85K. Then I went out. There's somewhere in Ilorin where we call.
Which year was this?
I think this was 2004, 5 or thereabouts.
It's 5,000 naira for your website.
Yes. So billed him 85K, right? And I went to Taiwoke in Ilorin. Met with a guy who runs a proper tech company. He's a PHP developer. I met him, Oga. We want to build a website. This is what we want. This is what we want. And the guy said, okay, domain hosting and development is 45K. We negotiated to 40K. We paid him, and that was how I pocketed, and my guys pocketed 40K. I was like, guy, this thing will make sense. So
could we technically say that's like a first business deal in tech?
In tech, yes. Before then, I've been doing magazine where those interviewing politicians. I would do a monthly production, but I was only handling design.
Okay.
So, but proper money that I made in tech was through that
website. So, what I want to ask now is, you had interest in tech through your interest in tech developed through the movies that you were watching. Rather than you going to study medicine in school, why didn't you just go for computer science?
Okay, so
because if you want to write a code or you want to develop an application for medicine, the best way to do that is to do computer science.
Okay, so the best way to solve a problem if you are solving that problem from inside out.
Okay.
You understand the problem. You understand. Okay, you want to fix a system, or you want to bring tech to fix a system. You need to first understand that system.
So how did you arrive in your mind that was like the best approach?
The way my mind works from a tender age is I do a lot of imaginative thinking, right? And my dad also exposed me to reading at a very early age. So I read a lot of books, and those that could not read, he has read and has found a way to simplify those interpretations to me. But I remember one profound experience was a family friend who traveled to Belfast, right? He works in an hospital, and we had conversation around how. So the first thing is, how did I got to know a telemedicine software? It was through that man, because he works within the hospital system. So there's a lot of conversations that usually happens whenever he comes home, and sometimes he sends letter. He's my dad's good friend, so he will send a letter, a very long letter, explaining his new findings and a lot of things. So I picked that interest from there. And questions that I also needed clarity on was also thrown at him.
Okay.
I remember when I was going to open my first email address, which is a Yahoo email, was because I went to Nitel to call this man. And he was shocked, as young as I was then, he was shocked. Now, and I said I needed to ask him certain things, and it is going to be possible for me to ask him on phone. He was calling his email address for me. I wasn't holding a paper. He was now using, so his email address is gpi@.co.uk, right? So he was now using the Storex. He was using there was a popular storage back then that is GP. I was using that GP to do the explanation of the email address.
Yes,
And I was able to pick the email, and maybe third day later, I sent him an email. He was shocked. So that created a two-way communication between. So most of the things I needed that gave me that decision came
through him.
In fact, at a point, he was telling me that if I couldn't get medicine, Nigerian science, I should go for any paramedical courses. That after then, I would come to the UK or go to US to do medicine. So that was the foundation. So come back to the tech. That was the first money. Then we now created a company. It was, it was not registered. We created a business card, a decided paper, and we were just...
all this was in 2005?
Yes.
Okay, so after studying microbiology in, UI, did you eventually went to study tech further, or did you take private courses and the rest? Did you do that?
So before I graduated from Learn with microbiology, so a lot of opportunities started coming in. Okay, this one want to do websites, this one want to do websites. In fact, we also deployed bulk SMS. I didn't have a bulk SMS portal. I was to walk into Quara Hotel, got a 1.2 million naira contract. I subcontracted to another guy that used Joomla to build bulk SMS, and we shared the proceeds. So when I saw the potential of what tech can do, right? One, it requires boldness. I just decided, okay, let me have a little bit of understanding. Secondly, the guy that was building website for us at 40K, 50K, he started charging what we were charging our clients, right? And I thought, okay, if you can do this, I can also do it. So I went online. The first thing I now started with was, okay, I stumbled on an Indian guy who runs a web program, a tutorial blog on web development. This guy, as at then, he already finished his MSc in web technologies. So I registered on his website. I started from the basic HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I was learning from him, and I didn't learn alone. As I was learning, I was now using the skill set too. So Blogger templates were majorly built on JavaScript. So I downloaded the free Blogger template. Everything I learned from him, I was implementing on Blogger template. Then I perfected the template to a point that I began to sell it to people at 10,000 naira.
Blogger template, that's Google Bloggers.
Yes, the blogspot there. Then most bloggers started then, like the likes of Obunge, all of them started then, and they were looking, most people were looking for a certain style of template, a magazine style. They don't have money to buy the original magazine style, so they want someone that will customize at a cheaper rate. They want a divided header where you can put your logo on side, your menu, and AdSense ad fast. So you can modify the code to accept code insertion into post, so that at a section of your post, a block of code will come out. So all those things were what we were doing then. 10,000 naira, I modify a template for you. So when I saw that money was coming, so I delved deeper into this guy. So I literally sat on this guy blogspot for like 2 years learning. Then after that, I got the NIT scholarship. I came from Ilorin. I entered 5:30 bus to Lagos to come and write NIT scholarship exam. Then it was around, I think, 450 or 250 to do the training then. But they were giving scholarship depending on your performance in the exam. They're going to give you scholarship from 70, 60, 50 or 45%. So I came to Lagos from Ilorin to write the scholarship exam. I passed, and they gave us, my friend and I, they gave us scholarship. We now learn proper web technologies where we're taken through the nitty-gritty of web design. But that was the foundation. So since then, it has been so those were the things I could point to as my learning curve. But after that phase, it became a self-taught journey. From one thing to the other. But now, the goal was because the money was coming. In fact, at a point, I totally forgot that I wanted to build a telemedicine software. Yes, to be sincere, but
Have you built it?
I have not.
Are you still looking at?
Okay, someone asked this question, and I think if it's going to be a yes, it will mean that we innovate around what is currently existing. What is the gap, and what are we trying to? Because there's no point in reinventing the wheel. If there's a solution that works,
Yeah.
then why reinvent the wheel? Except there's something that they are not doing and we want to do, then we can ask, okay, let's innovate around what is currently existing. I think what has made me to stick to Abeokuta is, for one, when I moved back into Abeokuta in 2013, Abeokuta was, to me, a virgin land. I saw a lot of opportunities, a lot of potentials. That's number one. So I believe it's going to require blood and sweat. We can grow the community. That was number one. Number two is also because I don't like Lagos. Lagos is crowded. And I love this serenity, right? So it make me want to choose between the peace here and then the bustling and high life. So Lagos is very solid for the outgoing one. I am not an outgoing person. In fact, I call myself an introvert. I don't do partying, I don't do, so Abeokuta is okay for me. But beyond that, so I started my business here. It is cheaper to operate here and spread across the country and outside the country. And that was one of the reasons that, okay, why rent a 10 million naira office in Lagos when you can use 2.5 million, 3 million to get the same office in Abeokuta? It's cheaper to maintain a business here and then serve a global market. The tech ecosystem 15 years ago in Abeokuta, by my count, there were clusters of silos of different activities. I wouldn't call it an ecosystem then, but there were different stakeholders making efforts to ensure that we have what we have today.
Can you mention names?
Yes. One of the key people that I met when I came, and we had interactions. I attended some of his events, was the brain behind Real Resources, Honorable Kende Shogule. He has given a lot to the ecosystem. Yes, he was the first set of people that championed the Google Digital Skills program by Google in Oyo State. They went as far as visiting institutions. The then of Ishola Adebayo, Seyi Ogidiolu, even our own Shehu Amsat passed through him. They worked together alongside him to pave that way. They sacrificed to ensure that that seed was planted then. We also have key personnel that form the digital ecosystem advisory group. They were the one that wrote the framework that gave birth to the ecosystem. They interface with a lot of stakeholders. So then, when I came in, the ecosystem was in the formative stage. People were doing different things. Also, when 5 years after that, it became feasible. They will now have more people doing prominent things that you could take note. We have the I also champion some of them, like the Startup Grind, the DevSec community. We have the Data Science Nigeria. We have the Rock Space that was providing
online
co-working space, online hub, education. So a lot of people has done a lot. So then it was different silos of activities that are happening across different clusters of people. Then gradually we began to see the convergence to what we now have today as an ecosystem, which is thriving and is growing. So one of the reasons why I decided to stay back in Abeokuta and push from here is because in one way or the other, I want to be part of an ecosystem where my impact can be felt, right? So I love to build from behind. And I saw the ecosystem in Ogun State as a platform for me to contribute. In as much as we all want to make money in tech, right? So one of the legacy that I believe should speak for it, just like I mentioned KS, there are other names too. So they pay their dues, right? When they were planting the seed, they were praying that, okay, where they are going to stop, other people should take it off from there. Maybe I would say it's an answered prayer, because in enough fairness and sincerity, it is not easy to build from Abeokuta. But I choose to stay back. I met amazing people here, very, very amazing people. I became part of a larger family. I became part of an ecosystem that is accommodating, right? So all this was one of the key reasons why I said, okay, I think it's good to call Abeokuta a place where I can operate from. Then on the business side, it is very economical to operate from here. That's the truth. The cost of rent in Lagos, when you compare when you do cost comparison of running business in Lagos and Abeokuta, then Abeokuta will always comes on top. It is very economical. You could use the money you are going to run your business in Lagos for 6 months to run that same business in Abeokuta for 2 years if you know how to manage funds properly.
Regardless of what the current situation of the economy is, really.
That's the truth. So you now need to know what you are looking for in Abeokuta. We have places also that are quite expensive. So what are the things you are looking out for in your business operations? Who are the people that can give it to you? Or what are the alternatives? But when you do cost comparison, it is cheaper to run business from Abeokuta. On the flip side, when you do cost benefit analysis, the things you are going to benefit when you run your business in Lagos are the things you benefit when you run your business in Abeokuta. But when you do the long-term comparison, two things stand side by side. Running your business here and also be part of an ecosystem that recognizes you, that supports your efforts in building that ecosystem, then in terms will translate into business growth in the long run. But it takes sacrifice. So we are sacrificing. It is not easy. We are sacrificing the things that we are doing. Most of us business owners are doing it with our money. We are building the ecosystem with our money. We are also running our business with our money, but all these are just us planting seeds to continue where our elders have stopped. And we are also hoping that when we push it to a point, we'll also hand over to some other people. But in retrospect, it's nice building from Abeokuta because economically, it helps. As I was saying, so it's very, very economical to build from Abeokuta. And when you do comparison within some selected ecosystem, and we now begin to ask ourselves, what is happening within the neighboring state, right? How can we now call on the government to help us realize that we see a thriving ecosystem in Ogun State, right? So one of the key things we've been clamoring for is a more inclusive ecosystem. But no ecosystem is going to be inclusive if there's no interface with the government authorities. Government will not give money. Government will not provide some business needs. But our basic needs that businesses need, right? No ecosystem can grow without an handshake with the government, without government intervention. And let's look at it from this angle. When the Ministry of Digital Economy was set up in Abuja, some states formed an alignment and they quickly created a state ministry of innovation and digital economy, and they appointed commissioners, right? In Ogun State, we have Bureau of ICT that is being headed by a director. And we look at the hierarchy of government operations. A parastatal or an agency is limited within some certain power. There's a limit to what they can do in terms of bringing opportunities from the central power to state. So one of the things the state should look into is to have a Ministry of Innovation and Digital Economy where the tech ecosystem can interface with. They're currently interfacing with the Bureau of ICT, but there's a limit to what they can do, right? But if there's a proper ministry headed by a commissioner, a PEMSEC, and a director, it's going to enable the government to spread their hands towards the federal and align with their policies, bring down those policies into the states, and the ecosystem will benefit from it. Because of a truth, there's a lot of benefit that the ecosystem can derive from the government. Or if we don't have a ministry that we can interface with, or a ministry that can draw down that benefit
From the federal.
it's going to become impossible. We will only try, but there's a limit to what we can do at the moment. So government will do more. I know they will do more if they can look into setting up a ministry that will align with the Ministry of
ICT,
Information and Digital Economy at the federal level, so that they can tap into the benefits directly, bring it down into the states, then let the ecosystem benefit from it.
So you are considered as a key figure in growing the ecosystem. And what specific role do you see yourself playing? Are you a community builder, innovator, a disruptor?
Okay, so if I'm allowed to do self-appellation, I think I wear all the hats, to be sincere, right? So it started from the point of, okay, let's build a system, to the point where we started a movement across business owners, then across developers. Those were two verticals. So I would call myself an ecosystem builder, right? So we also, apart from running business, we identify a gap within the ecosystem, right? And when we analyze nationally, we discover that the gap exists almost in every state. So co-founded a startup that is building for the thrift industry. So I call myself an innovator, right? So if you call me a community builder, I will answer perfectly to that. If you call me an innovator, you call me a tech enabler. So I think I fit into all those. And in my capacity also, over time, I've transitioned into helping not just business owners, but will-be developers to get clarity, how to become better in what they do, helping businesses through startup grind. We provide support, we provide mentorship, we provide guidance. I also currently sit on like managing the group of developers within the tech community, where we just provide mentorship to junior developers that are looking to better their skills or better their art. And we also, so a lot, I fit into whatever it is that you want to call it. One of the key challenges building from this part of the world, especially when you are building from Abeokuta, is one, you need to be very ready. Talent is available, but to find the right talent, you need to see beyond the physical. You need to see beyond their CV. You need to see beyond your emotion. You need to see beyond somebody recommended. That's the truth. I remember when we started building one of my startups, we did recruitment. We followed all the processes, right? But we still got some people into the team that were not what they said they were. Yes, so we wasted money. We are bootstrapping, we have not raised, but we wasted money building, right? So when you find the right team, you need to create a relationship. It's very important. Relationship is in three folds. Number one, a good understanding of the problem you are solving. Whoever is building with you must see the end goal from the beginning. Whoever is also building with you must understand the problem and why you are trying to solve it. So all this is available within the ecosystem, but it takes an extra work for you to identify the right talent and then take this into them. And the third thing is, if you are building and the people you are building with cannot take ownership of whatever they are building, it's going to take a while.
What do you mean take ownership?
Right. So they are self-driven. Because the truth is, Abeokuta might not be able to pay the right amount for talent compared to Lagos. So when you have talent here and they are wooed by opportunities in Lagos, right? If they are not self-driven and they don't believe in what you are building, right? Enough fairness, they have the right to drop whatever they are building for you and take a better opportunity, because everybody is looking for money, right? But if you are building with people that take ownership, they have the sense of belonging in whatever you are building, and there are better ways to do this, right? So when you structure your team right, they build even when you're not pushing them to build. And with that, you cover more ground. We've seen instances of you hire developers, you give them all the support, then the opportunity knock from Lagos or Abuja or even, and they sum up, right? So it's not about loyalty. It's not about loyalty. It's about what they want to eat, and what they will eat supersedes whatever loyalty. That's the truth. But when you see beyond this, you have a relationship with who is building with you. They take ownership of the product. You don't need to push them effortlessly. They're going to sacrifice, because the truth is, a regular employee will do 9 to 6 or 9 to 5 and they are done. But when you have people that build with you and they wake up when you don't tell them to build, then it means they take ownership. So all these are available within the ecosystem, but it's going to take extra for you to identify. So one of the key challenges is finding the right talent to build with. Talent exists, talent abounds here, but finding the right one that understand what you are building, they see the end from the beginning, and they want to take ownership is the extra work. Okay, how does the shadow of Lagos affect Abeokuta? The truth is, Lagos is Lagos. Abeokuta is Abeokuta. They don't share the same similarities in terms of ecosystem makeup. That's one. Secondly, we still cannot shy away from the fact that the proximity of Abeokuta to Lagos is a big challenge, because Lagos is pulling the talents from here. A lot of talent. When I go back the history lane and the days of Rockspace, the days of Kuta, a lot of talent has been made, and Lagos has taken them away. So
Discovered
there,
poached.
and poached. So it's a constant phenomenon that at the moment we may not have the right fix for it. But the right fix will come when the ecosystem here can stand at an advantage position. It might not be exactly Lagos, but when we can beat our chest and say, okay, the ecosystem has developed. At the moment, we are still developing. The moment we get to that developed stage, where we can compete with salary, we can compete with infrastructure, we can compete with resources that is readily available in Lagos, and you say, okay, when you come to Abeokuta, whatever it is you are looking for, you find it. See, it is not just tech. Everybody that plays in tech today in Lagos, they have a pattern of lifestyle. The tech bros in Ogun State and Abeokuta, to be specific, does not have that pattern of lifestyle. What we do here is just sedentary. We stay at our laptops from morning till night. We get home, maybe we watch 1 or 2 movies. We stay at our laptop again till midnight. We sleep. The following morning we continue. Lagos is different. And this plus the money is why Lagos will constantly become a key challenge where talent are being pushed from here at the moment. So when we can fix all this, and how we fix it is we continue to grow the ecosystem. We ensure that investment flows into the ecosystem. We ensure that if you build here, you have all the support to build, to raise, and to launch. and to also scale from within here, then talent will stay back. Nightlife is very active in Lagos. There's no nightlife here.
Not much.
Not much. Right? So all these are at the moment one of the key things. And if you don't marry that, it is going to keep becoming an issue. But I believe we'll get there. I'm very optimistic. One of the setback building from this ecosystem. Vividly, I remember, I said we're building Ashiri, and I remember just when we thought we had arrived and we were on a smooth ride into launch, into the market. So we got into multiple accelerators, Microsoft founders of AWS, FinTech Africa, and we got credit, infrastructure credit. And we were so happy that we wanted to prepare our environment to be production ready. And we set up production environment on AWS. We had 25,000 USD. And it's an experience that we have learned now. So we were setting up a production environment, and we mistakenly set up a DB production environment. And the cost, as at the time of setting up, we had about 21,000 USD or thereabout. And when we set up, after a month, we were at $7,500 deficit. We were owing AWS $7,500 just within the space of 1 month. Because we set up certain parameters for our infrastructure that could accommodate maybe millions of users, but we were still working with thousands of users, and we exhausted the credit within 1 month, and we could not pay because we are bootstrapping. And before you know it, AWS shuts us down. And we had users on the platform that were already in the market using our product. So we lost the database. We lost everything because in the process of trying to negotiating with AWS, maybe they should give us access, and they said they can even connect us to other accelerators where we are going to get more credit, but we need to fix our deficit. We need to fix what we are owing them. We have not raised. There was no money. We needed to pay 7,500 USD for us to gain access, and
you were owing them.
They were owing them. So all we had to do was to just let it go, and we now start all over again. We set up afresh on a different environment. Then we lost the data of our customers. In fact, some we are just gathering their data back to re-onboard them. So it was a setback. So after that, we sat within that process and we had some retrospective thinking, and we thought to ourselves, this was a lesson in disguise. We learned a lot. In between that, we also saw clarity into our product roadmap. In between that, we also get clarity on how to build what we are building better, right? If we had gone to market fully, because we were just testing with few users, if we had launched into the market fully, there are two possibilities. It's either we are patching what we had then, or we eventually shut down with AWS. But because of that, it was a painful experience, but it taught us two lessons. Number one, there is, in every pain, there's always a blessing. We just need to see through that problem and discover what the lesson is, then sit down on it, learn through it. And so we're able to re-strategize that pain into passion. And day and night, all thanks to our developers, day and night, we're able to see through the mistakes we have made. And now I can tell you that we have a stable, robust system. My vision of Abeokuta tech ecosystem in the next 5 to 10 years will be an Abeokuta where we have thriving startups, where we have talent not migrating again, where we also have businesses that are benefiting from the startup ecosystem. An Abeokuta where investors are not afraid to come. An Abeokuta where when you Google top startups in Nigeria, Abeokuta is also going to be part of that number. In the years past, we've seen reports of thriving tech ecosystem in Nigeria. When they are mentioning cities, they mention Lagos, mention Abuja, mention Kaduna, mention Ibadan. And you get to ask yourself, why is Abeokuta missing in that list? So my vision of Abeokuta is where we can sit side by side with cities within the country where tech is thriving, where startups are thriving, and where there is impact within the community, where talents are not, they don't have to leave Abeokuta because nothing is happening, where we can retain our talent and they can also make a good living while they stay here. If you see the compound effect of this, it's going to have impact on other businesses. Real estate will have their own share of the benefit. Other retail businesses will have their own share of the benefit. So I see an Abeokuta where we have an inclusive ecosystem where everybody can thrive, everybody can grow, and we mutually share that derived benefit from the growth. In all fairness, it's all about identifying what is our core strength here, right? And then leverage on the existing ecosystem, leveraging on the existing template. And when I mean existing template, if you want to raise today in Nigeria, in the year past, we call some people the gatekeepers. They know where the money is. And if you are not in the room where money competition is ongoing, you may not be able to raise anything meaningful. So what I believe the template is the enablers, the ecosystem enablers in the state are having an handshake with enablers in Lagos, enablers in Abuja, enablers in Kaduna, and even outside the country, where we can be part of that money conversation. We can be part of emerging tech conversation. When this happen, right, we get introduced to the money bags. We also get to share what we are building here. It is when they know that there is something here that people will begin to look inward. And when they look inward, they can validate the stories we are telling. Then money will come. So I would say, beyond being in the room, we also need to begin to tell our story. Nobody is going to tell the story like we are going to tell it. So we need to begin to tell our story in a more positive way. Over time, people from this side, Abeokuta, have been known to be the modest type of either you are a tech founder, you are a solid engineer. We tend to just live beneath the radar. We don't want to make that noise. But a thriving ecosystem has never been built with that style of modesty. Noise is needed, meaningful noise, so to say. So we need to sing our praises enough. We need to be in the room where conversations are happening. And we also need to now tell the story that resonates with founders, other founders. We also need to tell stories that resonate with the investors. When all this happen, then I believe people begin to notice us. And when that awareness begins to happen, there's a point where there will be convergence of all this effort. And the moment that convergence happens, the next thing is everything will begin to connect. Now in Abeokuta, we now have what we call Founders Friday. And then on top of this Founders Friday is where we have the Enablers Network. The Enablers Network is just a community of people that are in one way or the other supporting the ecosystem. Either you are a tech founder, you are an investor, you are a startup advisory, and everything in between. So that is just what an Enablers Network is. And Founders Friday is now where founders meet every last Friday of the month to discuss the next big thing in tech.
And this is free?
Yes, it's free for all community members to join across board. It is totally free. Yes. And so the next big thing for us is we've played too safe enough. That's the truth. So we want to shape talent, right? So we use the local talent to do big things globally. So the next big thing is where we can build solutions here within the city, and that solution is going to compete globally. That is the next big thing. So we want to do big with building solutions. We also want to build amazing talent within the community, and we can confidently say this is our talent. And when these talents stand, they should be able to stand side by side with devs across the globe. That's the next vision.
We'll be here to tell that story.
Absolutely. The truth is, it is very tempting when you have what it takes to compete globally and you are limited with a lot of things. But the truth is, on the flip side of it, it also comes with an advantage. An advantage where location is no longer a barrier. Where you stay is no longer a barrier. So all you need to do is build yourself to a point that you don't need to be in Lagos, you don't need to be in London, you don't need to be in Kenya, you don't need to be in Abuja to attract
You can build
opportunities. So build from here. So it is very economically friendly to build from Abeokuta. When you compare the cost of things between Abeokuta and our neighboring state like Lagos, because Lagos has now become the template for every techies. So when you compare, you realize that building from Abeokuta is very pocket friendly. So when you are starting your career, it's not advisable that you begin to spend money on things that are not necessary. Like I said, we have people within Abeokuta that are working with global organizations and they're here. So if you want to go to Lagos over the weekend to have fun, you can go, but living here, building your talent, learning over and over again just to be competitive with global talent is what I would advise my younger generations that are under the pressure of living because they believe nothing is happening here. So when you look very deeply, you understand that there are new dynamics that are going on within the ecosystem, and you need to be very observant to understand what is going on. So will you be part of that shift? Because it is you that is known when that shift happens. That will be able to say, okay, yes, we are here. So build from here, it is very economically friendly to build from Abeokuta. When you build to a point that you can stand shoulder to shoulder with global talent, location is no longer an issue for you. Everybody has a role to play in building an ecosystem. All hands must be on deck. But from the government, the best thing the government can do is to create an enabling environment for the ecosystem to thrive. One of the things we've mentioned in the past is government can enter partnership with ops and give discount to new talent that want to use those co-working space, but they don't have the full sufficient money. Government can say, okay, let's partner with multiple ops within Abeokuta and say, okay, these are the criteria for talent to access this. Every talent that meet up with this criteria, give them 50% discount over a period of 6 months. Within that talent will have gotten something good going for them that they will not be able to access the full services of a co-working space. So initiative like this from the government will go a long way in shaping the ecosystem. Also from individuals, one of the things we have noticed is when you want to do events in Abeokuta, businesses don't want to sponsor. And sponsorship is what is going to boost a lot of things within the state. So businesses will also find a way to create a CSR in their business planning every year so that that CSR will now be used to cover any event sponsorship, also do scholarship for talent and a whole lot of things. So like I said, all lands must be on deck to ensure that we all build the ecosystem of our dream together.
Looking at everything you've built, and the journey so far, what are you most proud of?
Interesting. So I have a couple of lists, but one of the things I'm always grateful for is the gift of access. That's the most See, we've built stuff, we've done things, we've bought. All of those couldn't have happened without the gift of access. The people I was opportune to meet when I came into town, and over the course of the year, the people I've met, a lot of people have opened doors, a lot of people have made referrals, a lot of people have made introductions, and this has become the hallmark of that growth over time. I chose to build in Abeokuta because Abeokuta is the best place to be globally. It is the most amazing place to be right now.
Some people would have a contrary opinion.
That's my opinion.
So if you had to say something to make Abeokuta interesting for other people, what would you say?
Because it is economically viable, it is a virgin land, it keeps growing, and there is only your imagination to be your limitation. In Abeokuta, if you can imagine it, you can build it.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you made it this far to the end of the video, you are the real MVP. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also share it to somebody. You might be inspiring somebody. I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.